have RB for you. We've also got the unstoppable power of Monarchs and Sky Strikers. You guys smash the living crap out of that subscribe button so you guys don't miss out more. This is one of my favorite tournament reports that I have had the chance to read so far. This duelist reached out to me and said, "Hey Robbie, I went 7-2 in my regional with RB. The deck is really, really well. It really stinks because that means that they were top 24 for sure. And if they had won one more round, this would have been RB's first top out here. Now, a couple things I want to explain about this deck. Remember, the lock for stage landing is only from the extra deck with 1,500 or less. All right, that's the big thing with this. This does not stop you from using things like the Machina monsters from the hand, because you're free to do whatever else that you need to do. So you can use things like Ruin Force and the Fortresses here to be able to capitalize on anything, but you also can use Regulus as a boss monster to kind of help you out and get set up, which I think is just absolutely awesome. So the RB cards basically are just going to be a going second strategy. You do see we have Droplets here and Lightning Storms. Not a problem whatsoever. Your whole goal is to slam down Brute Blues and then start toggling through the Vulcan boosters and this extra stuff to burst down your opponent and to clear out the game. And I think this deck does a wonderful job. Now, some other cool spicy techs. I like the fact that we have Torrential Tribute here on standby. This is another card that you can very easily call up and be able to get a free board clear against the opponent, which is really, really solid. You do see we have access to Lancia Ash and draws all other standard incredibly powerful cards to kind of detour the meta. But you're playing a going second strategy. Your goal is to be able to slam into the opponent and clear out the game in a very, very fast state. And the deck does it wonderfully. Next up is Monarchs for you. Now, this Monarch list is going to be a little bit different than what we've seen on a lot of lists. This build is going to be focusing on actually having the extra deck down here. Now, that means that you're not going to get all of the good benefits of the Monarch stuff. It means, Domain is literally, vacated out of our deck, which is fine, but we do get access to a nice little idea of being able to use Maximus here, which is really, really cool. Now, this also means that Zaborg ends up being the bigger monster for you here. Now, anytime that this card ends up resolving and gets the ability to trash out of your opponent's extra deck, it's really, really good, because in modern era Yu-Gi-Oh, having Zaborg and Mega Monarch resolve means that you just get to devastate your opponent, because you get the ability to tear through your opponent's extra deck, which ends up being so good. All right. I cannot state that enough. Now, I see we are playing the Steel Stringed Sacrifice. So what is this? If this card is in your hand, you can reveal a level 5 or higher monster in your hand to activate one of these effects, but you can only use each effect of this card's name once per turn. So during the end phase, lose 1,000 life points if you do not normal summon the revealed monster or a monster with the same original name after activating this effect. So when you touch summon this card from the hand, add this card from the graveyard to your hand, or banish this card from your graveyard. And if you do, add a level 5 or higher monster from your graveyard to your hand. This is the purpose of this is just getting the ability to beam this out onto the field as a sacrificial fodder for your Monarch, which is hilarious, by the way, because this is a light monster. So it actually works out quite well for what you want to be seeing. So that's a cool little addition. Next up here, we have your very famous Sky Striker deck that just took the format by storm. It has been an interesting discussion point on what is going to be, or what is the perfect way to go about playing Sky Striker, because all real developments considered for the way that this deck has been going, you've really got to take into consideration the deck building side of things. And I think it's been really, really cool to see how Sky Striker has been developing. Now, of course, only one multi-roll in this economy. Yeah, understandably so. This card is so slow at how the game like progresses, that you only want one. Also, only one lemon escape. I did play 2, and I will tell you that it feels pretty awful. You do want to make sure that you can get access to it and go. Interestingly enough, we did play the Black Goat Laughs in here. This is so we can thrust into this. I do like the Foolish Burial Goods. The more that I have played this deck, the more I regret not having access to that stupid Foolish Burial Goods, because it just makes the deck, it feels a lot better in my opinion. Yeah, I know, bad player talking. We do have access to Desires in here as well. This is something I also regretted not playing. Desires is such a free thing, man. Just play the second rose, get the deep dive into the deck, and you'll be good to go. Now, this is the only punishing side is, yeah, you have to play the additional rose, but it works out so well. Also, we are side decking the Hamp, which I think is really, really fun. Hamp is such a good card for what he needs to actually do for you, but all things considered here, everybody, I like this list. I'm actually going with the triple linkage to ensure the OTK clear is also very, very strong. So, looks like a very, very fun deck. I know, right? Sky Striker and the word fun. Wish we had Camellia. I'd make this deck a lot better. We have a working Sprite list for you. Now, anything can perform relatively well on a localized level. That's something that I have definitely learned throughout the years here is if you want something that you can pick up, play relatively well, it's probably going to be a deck that can have some sort of fun lock in it. And having your opponent get Nightmare Corruptor Ribley locked in this current economy is not a terrible thing, actually. Because you're basically just going to shut your opponent completely out of playing the game. If they don't have a Link 1 or something to deal with this card, congratulations. You get a full turn skip against your opponent, and that is devastating. Now, if you want to get into some of the broken things this deck can do now, having access to the spell card Monster Reborn helps you out so much. There is so much extra gas that you can put on your opponent with this card. It clears out games so very quickly, and I really appreciate this. Also, the fact we've got the Gamma Burst built into the main deck for the OTK pressure is not something that I had really thought of, because most of the time when you look at the way that these decks kind of build up, you don't really go, hey, you know, should we play the OTK in the main deck? Most people choose to side deck this. So that's definitely an interesting take. We've also got Triple Veiler down here. Really depends on how your local meta is if you do choose to play this. And of course, we are going with the Caddy and the Penny. I think that these two are fine additions to the deck. The mini Melfi package has stuck around for so long in some of these lists that I feel like it's weird to not see it at this point. Also, you know, you've got the inclusion of the Mirror Mage in here and the Freezing Chains. Both of these, I think, were the last big change to the structural way this deck plays. Also, we have Azarun in here as well. Our last list here is some punk action for you. Now, I do want to be very clear about the way you see some of these punk decks working. This build is bringing in the Fiendsmith package. Granted, this is this is just Engraver. That's an interesting idea. Engraver does bridge you on in to access to the Sanct, toggles into that. I don't know. That's an interesting one. Considering what you're working with here, but I guess getting the extra body on the field can just turbo into the Kaiser, so I don't really think that's all that bad of an idea. In terms of what your game plan is here, you're still just doing standard punk stuff. You're going to build up big boards. You rely on the big synchro monsters to essentially, you know, dissect your opponent's board. Your whole point is Jirai Sheen is here to kind of break down the opponent's field and just kind of get you into a position where you can feel a little bit more comfortable. Also, shout out to the Chain Disappearance for hitting those pesky yummy monsters. I love this idea. This card is hilarious when it actually does its job. If you are very doubtful of why this card is as good as it is, I think you're going to be pleasantly surprised as this meta continues to develop out here. But interesting takeaways here. I love that people are testing out all sorts of different ideas right now. And, you know, even though things are supposed to be quote unquote bad, you know, with the bad comes the good, and I think that's actually pretty cool. But what do you guys think? Please leave a comment down below. Tell me what you guys think. I'll see your beautiful faces back here in day, guys. patrons. Thank you. Ah!
Thank you so much for watching. Check out these other videos.